everyone. This is Donna Valente, the co-founder of the Enterprise Sales Institute, the de facto sales performance academy that focuses on courage and mindset in addition to sales strategy and practical selling skills. Today's topic is on mindset and courage, a personal journey with Lou Diamond. And before I introduce you to Lou, let me give you some backdrop. Lou Diamond is the master at connecting to people. After 5 minutes of talking with Lou, you feel like you found your long-lost cousin. He's truly a very engaging guy. Lou has a uniquely diverse background, ranging from working in sales on Wall Street to being the author of the bestseller, Mastering the Art of Connection, and his podcast, Thrive Loud, is now number 5 in the business category. He is a graduate from Cornell University, and he truly is a dynamic and bright individual. Today, we're going to hear from him on how he maintained high performance mindset through the ups and downs of the success of his career. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Lou Diamond. Hi, Lou. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hello, Donna. And with that introduction, I am so glad that you called my mom before you started to get on the air, because that was such high praise. That was wonderful.
No, I got to experience and witness you doing that. That's how that came from the heart.
Oh, very kind, very kind.
And speaking of coming from the heart, how this all came about is that I was listening to some of Lou's podcast on Thrive Loud. And, you know, Lou is very, very good at honoring everyone. And I thought to myself, I want to honor Lou, because Lou really has a diverse background and he's made a lot of shifts and changes throughout his career. And we tend to see the outcomes of success in sales, yet we don't get the upfront and personal view of the courage and the mindset that's required on a daily basis. So, Lou, I think you'd be perfect to share with us some of the techniques that you use to keep yourself focused as you face the daily challenges in sales and in your business.
Well, and thank you. And thank you for giving me the forum to do so. It was an honor having you on the show, on my show, and it was very well received. And
oh, thanks.
And one of the things that I've always been about, and throughout my career, and I have, as you mentioned, I've been in consulting. I've worked as the head of sales of an internet technology company. I worked on Wall Street for about 12 years. Which felt like maybe it was like a dog years thing. It felt like
100 years.
Yeah. And along the way, I was always trying to figure out not only what's next, but what's going to keep me moving forward. Mm-hmm. There were many reasons why I wrote the book, Master the Art of Connecting. And a lot of it had to do with it. This was something that I naturally did as my whole life, is just the way that I would connect with people. The other interesting thing was I wanted people to know this unique skill set that I just figured everybody else had. I was surprised when I learned that they didn't, and I wanted to share the skills that I had that you needed to know how to be to connect with people. Mm-hmm. There was a third reason, which relates to the question at hand, and that is that connecting has actually helped me and been the mindset that I am constantly seeking to help keep me personally moving forward. Mm-hmm. So to expand upon that a little more, when I write about and Master the Art of Connecting, and what I speak about often to companies and corporations and trade shows and all this stuff that I get in front of, I talk about this thing called the connecting core. And because I was in consulting, like you, Donna, I make things into an acronym, and it's the SAFE, S-A-F-E, the super why, which is the reason why you were put on this planet, and living and breathing that every day. A is the power of authenticity, to be open, honest, and from the heart in every way that you communicate. F is a fearless mindset, which we're going to get right back to, really about how you move through fear into courage. And E is the power of empathy, and that's standing in the shoes of another and really experiencing what their world is about. So packaging that all together, that's how I am with everybody. And when I run into trouble, if I'm trying to grow a new business, or I'm looking for my own consulting practice, or for opportunities to speak, I am looking at that SAFE and the different muscles I have and tapping into them to
Mm-hmm.
say, who can I connect with to help grow the business? I'm working with this particular client. How can I utilize the experiences I'm using with them to share with another so that maybe that can get me more opportunities? And along the lines, that fearless mindset, I want to get back to that because you asked what mindset I tap into. I have this little friend that sits on my shoulder. I've nicknamed him Mediocrity. And that's the fear that I look through. You and I have been through workshops where we work with teams and we throw cards down on the floors of all the fears that hold us back.
Mm-hmm.
For me, for whatever reason, being mediocre was the thing I never wanted to be. I wanted to be extraordinary. And I always
Nobody wants to be ordinary, right?
well, and I also think it's what drives me. And I look at that little guy, Mediocrity, and say, no, you know what? I'm not only going to do a podcast show that connects all the people that are with me, I'm going to do it better than anybody else or as best as I can. And I'm also going to stretch with those connections that I have so that every guest that gets on there, I maximize the way that they're communicated and who they're related to and who can hear their great message.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to my clients, if I speak in a conference, I always try to package in doing a workshop with their sales team so that I can channel the message I have, just that I shared with you and your listeners, to be able to work with the team so that they can put it into action right away and they could start connecting right away.
Okay, but I want you to tell me what your strategies are that you use for yourself when you have to get into a mindset. So I'll give you an example. Let's say, if when you're in sales, like you're running fast, you're about to close a, $500,000 deal, and then things somehow on the other side start to fall apart. And, people tend to get a little dejected after something like that or an incident like that. And you might face then a series of things not going your way for a couple days. So how do you every day connect to self and that mindset? Is there a technique that you use, a ritual that you use that motivates you forward?
It's a great question. And it's funny because there's two answers, and one might be a little ritual woo-woo-y, and the other is actually pretty hands-on and technical. Which would you like to hear first?
Whatever you do first.
Okay, so the mindset piece I do, and I do this. I work out just about every morning. It's only about 30 minutes on an elliptical. There's some other stretches and push-ups and stuff I'll do like every other day, but every day I have to get moving, and that's actually what it is for me. When I wake up, I'm constantly, my brain, you know what it is, you're at night, you've got 100 million what ifs running through your head. And unfortunately, when your mind is moving like that, it can actually be worse than it is. For some reason, when I get my muscles flowing and my endorphins flowing from working out, it actually relaxes me and gets me laser focused on the tasks I need to do. And this bleeds into the tactical, more technical piece. I actually use an app that's called Cloze, Cloze, which is a fitting name because I'm trying to close more business. This is the CRM system, interestingly enough, that I was connected to from a guest on my podcast show who told me that this was the most incredible thing for him. He did very similar things to me. He was all over social media. He had internet, he had email, he had all these different touch points. And we know, like, you get to your laptop with so many things to do, you can get really distracted really easily. Cloze actually prioritizes for me based on my behavior, the emails that I have sent in the past, how frequently I've followed up with people. It helps to keep me on track to the immediate tasks I have to do. And because I'm pretty good at putting things in my calendar, which I can't live without, the electronic calendar, it brings that in as well. So it'll literally tell me, prep for this particular meeting, set these tasks that you're supposed to do, follow up with these business contacts. So when I get my little endorphins running and I get focused on the things I need to do that day, and I will write down the 3 things I must do every day. And at the end of the day, I'll write the 3 things I need to do the next day. Here's the key thing, Donna. When I wake up in the morning, it's not always those same 3 things. Something might have happened overnight. A new priority might have come in, or maybe the 3 that I had at the end of the day were not really what needed to get done. Something else came in, but I'll do it as an exercise. It also bookends my day because I was a solopreneur, now I'm an entrepreneur, and I work with lots of clients and help people out. My mindset, I need to put a beginning and end to every day. And that workout and then those last 3 to-do list things, I bookend them, and that shuts me off. Then I relax, hang out with my family, hang out with my wife, my kids, my dog, watch some mindless sporting event or something like that, or something on TV.
No sporting is mindless.
No, I don't know. The way my New York Mets have played baseball for the last few years, that's pretty mindless. They got to the World Series a couple of years ago. We can't complain. Anyway, but those are the things I do combine it with a little bit of making sure my mind gets focused from working out.
Yeah.
And I physically have that tool. That tool is great. It's on my phone and it's on my laptop as well, that Close. I even got the CEO of Close to come on the Thrive Loud show because I was such a big fan of it. So,
look at you. Look at you connecting.
Yes. And always connecting. And I feel that whenever I make more connections, to your point, like, hey, you lost that sale for $500,000. And I don't sit back and wait. I continually go after the other things because I do recognize that there are plenty of no's out there. No's will come often. I could probably do a better job in follow-up, something that I've checked as a thing for me to work on this year, because I'll send some stuff out, I'll get a proposal out, and I'm not always the best in following up with people just because I'm constantly moving to the next thing. But those 2 tools I mentioned to you, the workout, get it to me focused, and then those things keep me on track within Close.
I definitely, there is validity in the making sure that you have a list of priorities and getting them done. And I think people really, they say they do them, but they underestimate it, the importance of it actually being a mindset. And actually the workout is the clearing of one's minds is very, very important. The other thing I noticed about you from working with you is your ability to dance in the moment and shift to something quickly without getting frazzled.
Yeah.
And that is a strong technique in business when you need to work in gray area. Can you self-author your mind to adapt quickly? And I've seen you do that and still hold on as you shift, still hold on to the bigger vision. And that's a very powerful way to go about the weeks and the months.
Yeah, I love that explanation. It's a good summary, and people have told me that I do a good job of that when I interview the guests on the show too. I want to credit that to the time I spent on Wall Street. I worked on a trading desk in a very fast, decisive environment, and while it's along the lines of when they say, people living on the East Coast or the West Coast, you shouldn't live on the East Coast your entire life, and you should have a little West Coast in you, and you shouldn't live on the West Coast your entire life. You should get a little East Coast in you. Mm-hmm. I think that's true about Wall Street. Like everyone has a chance to either be around it, whether you consulted or had clients with them, or as I did, really work in depth with it. You need a little bit of it. Too much of it is not a good thing. I will say though, it did get me to the point of adapt and being on my feet because markets moved. We had to adapt. We had to be quick. So that's in my nature. I think being in the Northeast, I was about to say being a New Yorker, but I'm on with a diehard Philly person. So I could say the Philly people are pretty adaptive too. But the Northeast mentality of being on your toes, fast and moving, but always keeping.
Well, you'll get killed or run over.
Yeah. Yeah. A bus is coming somewhere or a subway train. So you always have to be moving.
It's survival of the fittest at that point.
But I love, and this goes back to who I am. With that, I'm moving forward and I'm always recognizing I'm very selfless in the way that I act with my clients, with the people I work with on my toes in the workshops you've seen me with. I'm trying to get the people around me even better. And that's been a leadership quality I've had.
Yeah.
That's part of my connecting philosophy.
Yeah, it is. It's natural for you. It's a competency I feel like some people need to learn. And you can coach to it, but it is something that, everybody, if you do the Strength Finders 2.0, you see that everybody has some kind of core strength that they're really better at. And they've honed that and, kind of expanding that range and trying to step into something where you have to connect, where connection's hard for you. We have to coach to that for people, but it can be done. With some self-awareness,
Donna,
skills.
Yeah, you and I have done this, and we've seen people, and if your listeners are those that have been doing something for a really long time and know they need to make a change, and something's holding them back, and they're uncertain about what's there. What I always find amazing is that all of us, when we've made that move into the uncertainty, the uncertain space, it's never as scary once you're there. It's the thought of moving there that's always the thing that makes it difficult. It's that limiting belief.
It's like, I'm not going around the corner.
Yeah.
I don't know what's around the corner.
And I think maybe I've been born this way to know that I not only want to see what's on the other corner, I want to get there and I want to tell everyone about it.
Yeah.
And I want everyone to recognize that that movement, that is moving from one state to another, right? We talked about this. The word emotion, the root emote, means to move. And we move from one state in one condition into another. Those emotions are what is scary of holding us back. Let your listeners know this, that it's the move that's the magic.
Yeah.
It feels uncomfortable, but once you get there, you've added so many things to your world. You've connected to other people. You've connected to that experience, to yourself. And that is what makes us grow. It's what makes us better. And we could then balance back and forth that previous experience and the new thing we're trying to do. And I never look at it as if I do this and what happens if I fail? If I looked at that no one would ever get out of bed in the morning. I have to love failure. I love hearing the word no. I love all of this stuff because there's so many of those opportunities, because there are a lot. It gets us more laser focused to find the yeses and the wins.
It's funny. We could probably do a 2-hour podcast.
Oh, that's right. There's a time limit on this.
But I love talking to you. I want to have one kind of a parting question, because I think people really struggle with finding their purpose or their why. And maybe you can share a little bit about what your journey looked like when you finally found your why.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's so funny because I ask something similar to a lot of guests. And I think, but let it be clear that I tell people that I was put on this planet to work with the most amazing people and companies and make them even more amazing through the power of connecting. The skill that I was best at my whole life, the ability to connect with others. I was that guy that you'd throw me in any other place and I'd love to meet all the different people. I would love to be in consulting and learn all about different companies, sales, meet new customers. That skill that I had of connecting people and leading them too, by the way, that's part of connecting. That skill and this thing that I do, there's not only power in it, there's money, there's opportunity, there's growth.
But how did you figure out that was your vibe?
I figured out.
How did you presence yourself to really say, aha, this is it. This is really my purpose. So
to give the quick version of the story, I was unhappy working on Wall Street, and that never happened in my life. As a natural, outgoing, social person, I've never been unhappy. I didn't know that I was unhappy. That's how weird it was. And while I was doing that, Donna, I had transitioned at this point from working on Wall Street and helping a lot of these companies in the way I do at Thrive, helping them grow and develop with sales and business development. I was kind of overlapping the two jobs at this point as I was leaving one, moving to another. And when I was helping people, I helped this one client at a trade show. And at that trade show, he was watching me. He'd attended that trade show 10 years in a row. And within 20 minutes, I not only met all the key people he needed to know, I was bringing them to him and introducing him to people that he had never met before, seen them all the time.
You're hilarious.
And got their meeting set up and did all that. And he looked at me and said, "Do you know what it is that you do?" And I said, "I don't understand." He goes, "You do understand that this skill that you have, this ability to connect, not everybody knows how to do it. And you need to share with the world how you do this, because in 20 minutes at a trade show, I never would have accomplished anything without understanding how you position yourself and how you are in this environment." And that was the light going off in my head, that there was something I was doing that was different,
Mhm.
It took a little bit of time for me to really hone down exactly what those muscles of the connecting core were. That was quotes I put around them. And then I wrote the book and started incorporating a lot of these different skills into helping other people do it. So that client, who is still a really good friend and a client of mine today, is the one who I have to give the credit for recognizing that you need to do that. Now, I was so busy helping and connecting other people that I was almost missing over that skill of what I did. And I thank him every day that I speak with him for helping me to laser in and focus in on that skill set.
Mhm.
So it was a client who helped me see why I have this ability to help with the world and help them connect better.
You know what's hilarious is the last question I was going to ask you was what drove you to write the book, and you just told me.
Yeah, well, I
So
blended
that's
it together.
incredible. It's a great story.
Thank you. And the best part about Master the Art of Connecting with the book is that I speak about all the different parts of it, and people have called me up that I've never met before, never spoken to before, and said, thank you for helping me understand this particular muscle or this particular component. And that feeling of joy, or when I speak to a large audience and someone says, I totally get your message, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you're my own personal why that I helped uncover and that client of mine helped direct me to really helps. That sense of validation, there is such great power in that. And all it wants me to do is help to connect to more people and continue to get the message out to others.
That's awesome, Lou. Thank you so much for wrapping that up so perfectly. It was really great having you today. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Check out Lou's book, Mastering the Art of Connection, and we hope you listen to our next episode coming up next week. Thank you so much, people. Goodbye, Lou. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.